Good afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here, looking at your tropical update for October 18th of 2019. Brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling. And hey, they do roofs too. Actually, these guys are going to stick around and helping us out as we head through the rest of the winter with our weekly detailed forecasts that are coming up. We're actually going to make the transition starting on Monday once the tropics for us really do start to calm down. We'll stop talking about the tropics as much, and we'll start talking about severe weather around here, which is the next season that we're going to have to deal with. Here's Nestor, a newly minted Nestor out here floating around in the Gulf of Mexico. The south and east side of this thing looks pretty robust. That's where all the cold cloud tops are, all the whites that you see in here. But the center of the storm is actually just off to the west of all that mess. As we look out into the open Atlantic, this is why we're starting to pull back on the tropical update. We've got one wave here. But the National Hurricane Center not concerned about development with that one, and frankly neither am I. Out into the open Atlantic, just off the coast of Africa, you can see the waves out here just falling apart. There's just not enough heat left, and the gravy train of waves that's out here is even slowed down quite a bit. All right, let's bring it back closer to home. So there's the center of Nestor. And then there's all of the thunderstorm activity, the cold cloud tops, the north side of this thing, the west side of this thing. This is very one-sided, a lot like a lot of the systems that we get this time of the year, and particularly the ones that come from kind of that Bay of Campeche, Central American, gyre-ish area, is they tend to be one-sided. You guys remember Nate that rolled through here 2 years ago now. The west side, it was a gust of wind. People were snapping pictures, of tree limbs, or tree branches, I should say, the little skinny ones on the ground saying, "We will rebuild." That's going to be the west and northwest side of this thing, too. I will say this, that they do have storm surge warnings in effect for the coastline of Florida. They're going to get a lot of surge with this, and then they're going to get a fair amount of rain. Thankfully, wind at 60 miles an hour, not too robust at this time, but it's moving a lot like Nate very quickly to the northeast at 22 miles an hour. So this thing's going to be really cooking as it flies on through, which is again why the surge is a little bit higher. You've got the forward momentum on top of the wind, which is kind of pushing a lot of the water up against the coast and making landfall. Unfortunately, kind of a similar place to where Michael made landfall just over a year ago. So there's Nestor moving off to the northeast and away from us out into the open Atlantic. There's that one wave, not really doing much. Out into the open Atlantic we go, nice and dry, nothing to talk about. For us on Monday, and again this is why we're transitioning to that weekly severe weather discussion, we've got a chance for maybe some thunderstorms and the possibility of some severe weather around here as we head into Monday. Here comes the front. And just a boatload of dry air cutting off anything that may want to make its way our direction from the Gulf of Mexico or into the Caribbean. Another front moves through as we head through Friday of next week. And again, more dry air into the Gulf of Mexico. And generally this time of the year, we're looking in the Gulf, the Northwest Caribbean, just off the East Coast for tropical systems. Everything back in behind that is basically toast. In fact, there was a tropical depression just off the coast of Africa the other day. It made it like 18, 24, 36 hours, something like that, before it died. So there's just not much as you look out into the open Atlantic this time of the year. We've got to keep looking closer to home, and that front drives through, and my goodness, just a whole mess of dry air. Good news for us. Whole mess of dry air as we head into the Gulf of Mexico as we head toward the end of October. So there's a look at your tropical update. Again, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters for October 18th of 2019.